today was kind of like brainstorm, and outline ideal situations and topics that we could do for the documentary. We had like different scenario cases, like if this happens, well, what would we do? And we learned like the value of research.
Right, we came up with a couple ideas about how we need to go into the neighborhood, kind of get a feel for it, get an understanding like different landmarks, and see how maybe the area isn't as necessarily bad as they say. Maybe there's some good neighborhoods. I remember she brought up a couple of good points, like some few good blocks of neighborhoods in the area. So we came up with brainstorming some ideas about that as well. Different interview subjects, things of that nature.
We worked with Dennis Niemick. He's a former reporter
and works in the communication department at the Wayne County Sheriff's Department.
I learned the value of communication, actually, being able to not form a relationship, but trust with the people you interview, because it's not always, because if you just go in thinking that you're just going to do an interview, then it's just not going to come out right, because you have to actually, try and get a feel of what the person you're interviewing is experiencing.
And that's where the element of extensive research comes into play, because you can then ask questions based off of the research that you've done. And then, like Dennis was telling us earlier today, that your first interview, you're going to get a certain response. Your second interview, you're going to get a different response. Your third, fourth, and however many interviews you may do on the same subject, you're going to get different responses. And each response is going to be based off of the trust that you've built with that person. From here on out, our next step is to definitely get started on the documentary. Our next step will probably be to, like I said, go into the neighborhood and mark down landmarks and just get a feel of how
raw footage.
Yeah, raw footage, and see what the neighborhood is actually like, what the corner store is like, just what the neighborhoods look like, things of that nature.